are possible this weekend as they take on high-flying, promotion-chasing, red-hot Fulham. Can we do it? We'll take a little look next. Folks, back once again with another match preview. Looking forward to Blackburn Rovers taking on Fulham down at Craven Cottage in London, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe and keep you bang up to date with all things Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We got it all here, boys, under one roof. That's right. We're looking forward to this zinger. So is Lewis. He's standing by, of course, with his verdict and opinion about the game. We'll get to him in a minute, of course. Big shout out to my VIPs. They're the patrons, guys. Thank you for loving, of course, behind the scenes. But anyway. Yep, of course, let's get in the deep end. In fact, he is here, Louis, standing by. Of course, looking forward to this game, aren't you? So hopefully tell us a little bit about it. Of course, what do you expect this weekend as we go to red hot, in form, promotion chase, playoff bound Fulham? What is your expectations for this match as we, of course, try to do the unthinkable?
My thoughts of the upcoming game on Fulham on the weekend. So we're playing this Saturday, and if I'm honest, I do think we're probably going to struggle against them just because they're top of the league. They beat us 7-0 at home, but we did have 10 men. But it is going to be a very, very tough game. Both fighting for promotion. Fulham, pretty much, let's be honest, they've pretty much promoted already. They've got too good of a team not to get promoted, in my opinion. But yeah, it is an early kickoff as well. But with Rovers just coming back off a win against QPR after a real good performance, really. It could have been 3-4-0 to us on the weekend. So I'm hoping we continue that form going into this weekend against a very tough opponent. But it's really hard to predict because Fulham have been the typical Fulham winning the games recently as well. They're all in good form. Mitrovic just breaking the record. So I'm not really looking forward to going into this one, if I'm honest, everyone. It is going to be a very difficult game. But fingers crossed the lads can get the win.
All right then, folks, let's take a look at the game in a bit more detail then, shall we? Of course, let's break down the bloody numbers. That's right. So Fulham, of course, do play their games right here at Craven Cottage. 19,359 in attendance on a good day. Of course, Marco Silva is your manager still, of course, doing very, very well for himself. Tom Kenny, El Capitano, of course, we know about him. QPR is the nearest match for Fulham. Middlesbrough is the most distance they'll have to travel. Last season, of course, Fulham did finish in 18th. Of course, 11-2 were the odds at the start of the season for promotion. And, of course, my tip at the start of the season was for them to finish in 5th, of course. Very, very good players on the books there, don't they? Of course, Lewis, if you could take anybody from their books, probably Mitrovic, I think. I don't know. But they do have a whole host of players on the books that could do wonders for Blackburn Rovers. Who would you take, of course, to boost our own squad moving forward?
A player from Fulham's squad, I would probably take, well, the obvious one would be Mitrovic, but because everyone would thinking someone would say they want Mitrovic, I'm going to pick a different player because I think it's just a bit too obvious to say, oh yeah, I want the best striker in the league who gets you 30, 40 goals a season. I'm going to not say that. I'm probably looking at their team. They've got a few players who have been in the Rovers team, Tosin Adebayo and Harrison Reed. I wouldn't mind one of them coming back, if I'm honest. I think they would suit our team again. But because they've already been here, I don't want to say them either. So I'm going to pick Harry Wilson just because he's a good playmaker. He's got a lot of good talent about him. He can get up, run with the ball. He can dribble, get past the defender. He can score a good free kick or two. He knows where the back of the net is if it's needed. And his vision's really good off the ball, so he can find opponents' feet and everything. And I think he would probably suit our style of play at Rovers. He could probably chip in with a few goals and assists and help us out if he were in the team. So yeah, the player I would choose from Fulham is Harry Wilson.
That Lewis kicking off forward, then shall we take a look at, of course, what's going on here. This is their form for Fulham coming into this one. When you look at it on paper, it doesn't look that bad, but for Fulham, it might be a bit of a blip. That's what I've been thinking about this one. Of course, coming into this on the back of the last 5, picking up 4 wins and just the 1 defeat. Of course, they did pick up wins against Millwall, Hull City, Peterborough, and Cardiff, but the last 3 wins have only been by 1 goal margin. So that's the spark of hope I've given Blackburn Rovers here, of course, and they also lost at home to, of course, Hull Huddersfield Town. So maybe we can get them on a really bad day. So we'll see about that, of course, kicking off. Let's take a look at the stats then. Of course, Mitrovic running away with it with 34 goals so far this season. Wilson's got 9, Carvalho got 9, and Cabana's got 8. And of course, any one of those players would be a major boost for Blackburn Rovers. As for the discipline, of course, Mitrovic got 7 yellows, Odoi 6, Carvalho 5, and Reed's got 4. As for, of course, the Reds, Wilson's got 1, and Adabarayo Thompson, of course, has got a red as well. So I don't think it's been anything recent. But anyway, let's take a look at, of course, not this, something else. All right then, folks, let's take a look at my expected starting lineup for Fulham. Coming at you, of course, with a 4-2-3-1. Rod up between the sticks, Robertson at the left-hand side, Tim Ream alongside Thompson, of course, in the centre of defence, with Nico Williams on the right-hand side. We've got Harrison Reed, another ex-Rover there. Count them up, guys. Count them bloody up. Of course, Chabola as well alongside Carvalho, of course, linked with Liverpool, possibly on the move in the summer. We've got Takova Reed, Wilson, of course, supporting Mitrovic. It is a bit of a dream 11, isn't it? Of course, I'd take any one of those, really, to be honest with you. Or maybe Ream, but that's just being picky. But anyway, kicking off forward, take a look at what's going to happen for Fulham heading out of this game. Of course, they've got Swansea City waiting around the rings, of course, on the 8th of March before an away trip against Barnsley, of course, up against West Brom later on. Of course, 3 away days on the road for Fulham. Kicking off forward then, of course, they'll take on Nottingham Forest on the 19th of March, and then QPR as well. It is so batshit crazy, this league. Everyone's going to play everybody, and hopefully just Rovers, it works out for them in the end. Let's take a look at, of course, Blackburn Rovers coming at you. They play the games at Ewood Park. We've been there, of course, so have Fulham, and they remember it quite fondly with the course, and we'll talk about that in a minute. 31,367, but of course we don't really care because we're not there this weekend. Mowbray, the manager, Lennon is the captain, of course, Preston North End is the nearest fans away day for them. Bournemouth, of course, the most distant of travel. We've done that already. 15th last time around, 20-1 we were at the start of the season, and 10th was my prediction at the start of the campaign. This is our resume, of course. Finally, we got a win on the box there, of course, with a 1-win over QPR. Prior to that, though, not great. Goalless affairs all over the place. Sheffield United, of course, picked up a win at Bramall Lane. We did pick up a draw on the road at the Hawthorns. We did lose at home to Forest, and of course lost to Wales to Swansea. So hopefully the month of February, the jinx is over. Maybe we can do the unthinkable with a win down London way. Of course, the goals coming in from Brereton, but he's not there. Of course, he's out injured. Gallagher, of course, will have to take over the mantle, perhaps. Cadra and Dolan, of course, on the score sheet there. Buckley's got himself close to book it as a suspension here. I think a yellow card here against Fulham will be a 2-game ban. I think someone else as well is in the mix. Buckley as well, but I think he might be benched, I think, because of the game last week. Travis, of course, Lenihan and Rothwell. As for the Reds, Lenihan, Naomi Van Heck, all had Reds so far this season. Of course, looking forward to this game, even though we're probably expected a bit of a defeat. But what's going to be your starting 11, of course, bearing in mind what went on last weekend against QPR? Any changes in your team, or do you think it's going to be pretty much as you were?
So, my starting 11 going into the weekend match, I would obviously have Kaminsky in net just because he's our better keeper. I'll keep with the 3 central defenders what we're using at the minute, Lenny and Van Eyck and Wharton, just because they're very solid at the back. Instead of Pickering, I've replaced him with Giles just because he can whip a good ball in. Pickering is good, but in my opinion, the last 2 games, 3 games, he hasn't really been up to scratch for me. He's looked a bit not in his best of form, so I've put Giles back in the team. With Nyambi being out, I've put Zifruk back in, who he looked really good, if I'm honest. I've been very impressed with him. I'm going to keep the midfielders Travis, and I'm actually keeping Johnson in there because he impressed me when they played against QPR, so I thought it's best to keep them both in it. And I've gone with Darwin and Kedra both on the wings, and I just thought I'll shove Hedges as like the attacker centre forward player just because I want to see him play. I think Gallagher's been quite poor recently as well, so I thought a replacement for Hedges for Gallagher should hopefully do a decent job. He's been rated when he's been at teams like Barnsley and Aberdeen. He's been rated, so it would be nice to see him get a good chance at Rovers and get his second start. I think it will be his second start. Be nice to see him come on and hopefully try to get a goal and improve the side a little bit. But if Hedges doesn't play, it'll just be like a straight swap for Gallagher, really. But it would be good to see Hedges play, give him a chance, see what he's all about, give him the opportunity. And yeah, that is my starting 11 for the weekend.
Right then, kicking off forward, let's take a look at what's happening for Rovers after this game. In fact, we walk into what hopes to be a big month for Rovers. Of course, 3 home games in succession. There's, of course, the rescheduled Millwall game, Bristol City at home, and then Derby County, where I'm hoping Rovers find their form in these 3 games, as, of course, we can head out of the month of March into the month of April with also a tricky but winnable or at least pointable games on the road against Reading and Coventry. So a good chance for Rovers to get some points on the board and maybe put some foundations in the top 6. And that's the best I think we can hope for at the moment. Anyway, so take a look at the stats then, shall we? Of course, Millwall on the left, Rovers on the right. We're representing the blue. They're represented by the orange. Of course, in possession, when Fulham have the ball, 45% of the time they're in the middle third, 30% going forward, and 25% in the own third. As for Rovers, 42% of our possessions in the middle third, 29% in our own third, 30% going forward. As of course, when we do have the ball, Rovers coming down the right hand side more often than not, 36% down the left and 23% down the middle. As for, of course, Fulham, though, they prefer the left hand side to the right and 27% down the middle. As for the shot grid then, shall we? 59% of all the shots for Fulham are in the 18-yard box, 31% long range badges and 10%, quite a high number, in that scrappy dappy doo area. As for Rovers, the 57% of all of our shots are in the 18-yard box, 36% long range cookies and 8% going forward in that scrappy dappy doo area. As for, of course, shot direction, Fulham prefer the left to the right, only just, and 73% down the middle. Rovers prefer the left to the right, and of course 64% down the middle as well. Kicking on forward, those, take a little look at the recent run of events then, of course, with these 2 sides. Look at Fulham's running. The last 6 home games has been pretty good. I was trying to make it look good, but it's not been that great. When you look at the last 4 at home, ignore those 2 6-2s at the top of the box there, but drawing with Blackpool, an okay win against Millwall, losing at Huddersfield, narrow win against Peterborough. There is room for optimism in there for Blackburn Rovers. However, our away form is not stellar, picking up what we're looking at here, a winless run of 5 games though. But if we go in sequence here, we could pick up a draw, and that would be not a bad point in the bag. Take a look at, of course, the tail of the tape here. Of course, now these 2 sides have played each other 35 times since 1999, 13 wins for Fulham, 50 wins for Rovers, and 7 draws, of course. Fulham, though, come to 67% form for them, of course. 2 defeats in the past 6. As the Rovers, just 1 win and 6 for them, 33% form for them at the moment. Our biggest win over Fulham was a 4-0 win. Their biggest win, of course, was at 7-0 dropping earlier in the season. How many times am I going to have to say those digits? Of course, they've scored 50 goals to our 52, which works out around about 1.49 goals game ratio compared to the 1.43 goals game ratio for Fulham. Coming at you, though, the last 6, this is at Craven Cottage, actually. Just 1-3 for Fulham, 1 for Rovers, 2 draws, of course. A 2-0 win last round back in August 2019. Of course, a couple of games ago, Bo, was a 2-2 draw back in 2017 with Craig Conway from the penalty spot, Lucas Jow as well, 94th minute saviour there. Last win was back in 2014 with a 1-0 win with, of course, Jordan Rhodes on the score sheet. Kicking on forward, though, the last 6 at both home and away, of course, at the top of the shop there, of course, prior to that with a 1-0 loss to Fulham. So we haven't won in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while, and hopefully we can get something in this game. It's a tall order. It's a massive order. Like I said, it is mission impossible. All right then, folks. Of course, Fulham have played 33 games so far this season, 34 for Rovers. On average, of course, Fulham pick up 2 goals a game. We are just the 1 right now. 17 shots on average per match compared to Rovers 11. We pick up more yellow cards than they do. They pick up more corners than we do. We're better in the air. They're better on the ground. It is pretty much as you would expect. Of course, let's take a look at the away form then for Rovers. Of course, compared to the home, again, they pick up 2 goals on average at Craven Cottage. We pick up just the 1 on the road. 19 shots for them at Craven Cottage compared to our 9. Again, 2 yellow cards on average. We pick up more fouls as well. We're better in the air, and of course they're better on the ground. It's pretty much as you would expect. Fulham are red hot. They are top of the pops, and they're top of the pops by a distance. Let's take a little look at, of course, what have we got going on here. This is, of course, the goals. Look at that. 82 goals scored for Fulham this season. 54 through open play, 16 set pieces, 4 counter attacks, 5 penalties, 3 own goals. Absolutely incredible. Pretty much double what we've got. Of course, when we were one of the high scorers earlier in the season. 46 goals though for us. 29 through open play, 8 set pieces, 4 counter attacks, 4 penalties, and 1 OG. They have a conversion rate of 40%. We have a conversion rate of 12%. 16.7 shots per game compared to our 10.9. Now let's take a look at something a little bit more reassuring for Rovers. We have conceded 34 goals compared to their 29. If we were to take that 7-0 blip against them off the record here, we would be back down to 20, 30, 27 goals conceded. So we would be pretty much, I think, like for like in the defensive sort of stuff. So yes, we've been a bit shit in front of goal. If Diaz is not scoring, we have been a bit toothless going forward. But our defensive core is massive, and keeping that back three, the centre backs there, have worked a treat so far, and of course Kaminsky as well in unison is massive for us. Of course, we have conceded 25 through open play, 6 set pieces, 1 counter attack, 1 penalty, and 1 OG. As for, of course, Fulham, 17 through open play, 4 set pieces, 5 counter attacks, 3 penalties. They've been quite nifty or quite detrimental to themselves in the penalty box with 3 penalties given up. Of course, they have a conversion rate of 9%. We have a conversion rate of 9%. Shots 10.9 received, 8.9 received for Fulham. Let's take a look at what we can expect from this game. Let's take a look at the strengths then for Fulham coming at you. They've got they're good at scoring chances, set pieces, attacking down the wings, attacking chances through balls, individual skill, creating scoring chances, counter attacks, defending set pieces. Their weaknesses though, defending against counter attacks, which is what we do. Of course, stopping opponents from creating chances and aerial duels, which is what we do. Of course, I'm building it, boys. Of course, the style of play, attacking through the middle, short passes, possession football, attempt through balls, often control the game in the opposition half and be very, very non-aggressive. As for Rovers though, counter attacks is our strength. Scoring chances, create long shot opportunities, creating chances through individual skills, scoring chances as well, aerial duels, stealing the ball from the opposition. Their weaknesses though, keeping the ball, avoiding the offside. Our style of play is attacking down the right, long balls, of course, attempting through balls often, long shots, taking a lot of long shots, aggressive, consistent first 11, and we do like the opponents to play aggressively against us. The forecast, Rovers will score from a fast break situation, Fulham will dominate possession, Rovers will create many scoring chances and will dominate in the air. Yeah. So there is some optimistic stuff there. Take a look at the journey then so far for Fulham. Of course, they bossed it throughout the season since they hit top bins way back at, of course, match day number 18. They've not dropped since. Rovers, of course, been on a steady journey and in the playoffs, and of course, kind of a bit of a rough patch right now. And hopefully, we can do something this weekend to kick us on forward into a fruitful month of March. One team that's a red hot form right now is Luton, sitting pretty there with 15 points on the board. Fulham are in third, of course. Rovers all the way down into 21st. That's relegation form right now, but hopefully we can turn that around. That's the last 6, both home and away. Of course, take a look at the last 6 at home. Of course, Rovers are in 8th, which is pretty good. Fulham are in 4th, which is pretty shit for our point of view, but of course for them that's okay. Middlesbrough top bins, of course, at home 6 from 6 for them so far, even beating Man United and Tottenham in the process. Kicking on forward though, let's go back to the away form here. Rovers are, of course, I don't even know where, 14 for the table, of course, it's just pretty shit. 5 points on the possible 18. Fulham, of course, good on the road, but of course they're not playing on the road, they're playing at home. Let's take a look at some of the stats then, shall we, coming at you. We, of course, got possession-based side. Swansea lead the charge there. Fulham second. Sheffield United, Bournemouth and QPR make up the power 5 there. Of course, most aggressive is Rovers. 82 yellows, 4 reds. Cardiff are in second. Derby, Stoke and Middlesbrough. Aerial duels, 1 Stoke lead the charge on that one. Rovers are in second. Millwall, West Brom and Cardiff. Shots per game, Millwall lead. Fulham lead the charge on that one, 16.6. Then it's West Brom, Coventry, Sheffield United and Middlesbrough. And then to the final category from me anyway. Pass accuracy, Swansea are top bins there. Fulham, Bournemouth, Sheffield United and QPR. Let's take a look at what's going on this weekend. Of course, the early kick, is it tomorrow? Yeah, a couple of games on tomorrow night. Sheffield United against Nottingham Forest, of course, and Huddersfield against Peterborough. These are USA kickoffs, just to let you know. Fulham, of course, against Rovers, early kickoff on Saturday. I'll be there with toothpicks. There will be a watch along. Hopefully, you can join me as well if you can't watch the game. Hopefully, we can watch something special together. But anyway, Derby against Barnsley, of course, relegation 6 pointer down there. Hull against West Brom. QPR against Cardiff, of course. Stoke against Blackpool. Middlesbrough against Luton Town. Preston against Bournemouth. Swansea against Coventry. Reading against Millwall. And, Bristol City against Birmingham. Whoa, get in focus, guys. Get in bloody focus. That's, of course, the tail of the tape there. Of course, it is first up against 4th. A win for us. Technically, we could go to 3rd, depending on what goes on elsewhere. Of course, we could also drop all the way down to 6th if things don't go our way either. Peterborough, Derby and Barnsley going down at the moment. Of course, Fulham and Bournemouth going up at the time of asking. Let's take a look at the goal scorers. Of course, Mitrovic is running away with 34 goals. He's nearly doubled the next best thing, which of course is Diaz and Solanke. Of course, got a goal not too long ago, like last weekend. So Diaz ain't going to score this weekend. He's nowhere near fit and ready to go. As for the most aggressive, I don't really care about that. The assists, Giles hanging on in there, but of course, if he can get a game, just like Lewis hopes, he might be able to get an assist. That could change it up a bit. And speaking of Lewis, here he is once again with your pick of the day, Louis. What do you expect for the match against Fulham at Craven Cottage? Give me a score line at the end, and I'll see if it matches mine.
The final score prediction is very tough to predict because you never know what the games are going to be like. It is also on Sky, so it is really hard to predict because Rovers aren't on the best when we're on TV, really, if we're honest. And I think all Rovers fans can admit it. We sort of have a Sky curse. But my heart's telling me something and my brain's telling me something else. If I'm going off my brain, I'm thinking we're going to get beat probably 1 or 2-0 or something like that. But I don't want to be negative about it. I don't want to predict us going into a match and we're going to lose straight away, because the boys can surprise you. They can give it a really good go. So my heart says we might get scraped, something like a draw or a win. But I am probably going to go for a 1-1 draw, because both sides have got goals in them. So my prediction is a 1-1 draw. But hopefully we can get the win, even though it's probably unlikely. But you never know. Football can surprise you. So I'm hoping we get the win. But yeah, thank you for having me on the channel. Make sure you like this video, and I'll see everyone later. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks again for Louis. But for me, I'm going to go with a cheeky. I'm going with a 0-0 draw. I'm going, our defence is good. Their home form is a little bit rusty. Of course, they have got that 7-0 against us. I did do a podcast. It should be out right about now, or it'll be out very, very soon. And I did go boldly in that. Because it depends wherever you look. I think in the championship prediction video, I went with a Fulham win. Here, I'm going with a draw. In the podcast, I went with the Rovers win. So one of them is going to be right. But I am confident that we could hold our own here against Millwall. Millwall. That's one of my little twitches. I keep calling these two. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. But I do anticipate Fulham to struggle this game. I'm not saying that we're going to win. If we are going to win, it's going to be a 1-0 fluky little bad boy. But their form is not stellar. It is, of course, amazing. Just one defeat in the last how many? But they've only been one goal deficit. So I think Rovers could take advantage of that with our defensive displays recently. So yeah, I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw here. But of course, we might nick it with a 1-0 win from a set piece or penalty. But that's it. Of course, be sure to give the video a like, smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe. Once again, I'll be back for a watch along this weekend. So make sure you join me for that. But until then, guys, of course, good luck, Rovers. Of course, thanks for watching. Until then, dudes, we'll see you soon for the next.